don't find myself particularly interesting.
Welcome back to the Media Circus, the game show about the news game. And joining us tonight are, from Kitchen Cabinet and author of the new cookbook Special Delivery, Annabelle Crabb. From the Checkout, Scott Abbott. And BuzzFeed political reporter Alex Lee. And they are up against, from Story Club and Free to Good Home, Ben Jenkins. Comedian and co-host of the Little Dum Dum Club, Carl Chandler. And former press secretary to both Kevin Rudd and Julia Gillard, now at the Monthly, Sean Kelly. Look, it's great to have Annabelle and Sean together because not only are you both interested in politics, but Annabelle's just released a new cookbook, and judging by this, Sean, you're in food preparation. Perfect, you have lots to chat about. Actually, although, Sean, your old boss, Kevin Rudd, went on Annabelle's show in the lead-up to the 2013 election. As a media advisor, how did you think that went?
I thought Annabelle came across very well.
All right, now to team names. This week, Annabelle, Alex and Scott, we go back to the old Team Australia. So, Carl, Ben and Sean, you're the only thing that can defeat Australia, or at least our national anthem.
We've got
So you are Team Hiccups. And as always, the Media Circus is under the watchful eye of our fact-checker, Chaz Licciardello.
I'm afraid to say, Craig, once again, it's our Prime Minister who's been loose with the truth this week.
It's always fun to be in Darwin.
Thank you, Chaz. And now let's play the news game.
Stitcher.
First up, of course, it is Stitch Up. Both teams take it in turns. Teams, can you identify the 4 news stories we've stitched together this week? Here's your Stitch Up.
Dumped Defence Minister Kevin Andrews has been
Arrested for punching a police horse.
For the opening night of this year's Schoolies Week, police say the 35,000 attendees were generally
Bundles of dribble and sputum.
All right, Team Australia, what has Kevin Andrews been doing this week?
Well, he's been having lunch with his colleagues in a controversial room in Parliament House.
That is definitely one of the stories. That's not this
The
story
monkey
here,
box?
but yeah, what's it called? The monkey pod or something?
The monkey pod.
Yeah,
well,
I
it's
love-
this special plotting room where all of the Abbott people get together and have cakes and things.
The monkey pod is a shit name for like planning a nefarious planning
No,
room.
but it's a kind of tree, and it's the wood of which the table in the monkey pod room is made. Like seriously, these names come out of nowhere.
Do you think they were like, okay, we'll name it after whatever tree the table's made after because, you know, it could be like the Mighty Oaks, and then they find out that it's
just-
monkey pod, and they're like, well, we've committed.
I like the way that Abbott and the rest of them sit down around a cut-down tree. More of this, more of this.
I thought it was just because they were acting like a bunch of monkeys and throwing shit at each other.
So look, that's one of the Kevin Andrews stories, but it might have been him kind of weighing in on ISIS and what we should do about it, as lots of former experts are currently doing.
That is right. Kevin Andrews and Tony Abbott have both suggested sending Australian ground troops into Syria, prompting this response from the Prime Minister.
This is not a time for gestures or machismo. Calm, clinical, professional, effective. That's how we defeat this menace.
Oh, I miss the hysterical machismo. Please, bring it back. Yes, Chaz.
You know, Craig, that's just Turnbull describing himself. I mean, honestly, just this week, he was being really calm, clinical, professional and effective.
The pill is just kicking in.
Yeah, a lesser person might have just sort of mooched and like let the flag droop, but it was a full wave.
It's just an awkward size for a flag to be. Like, there's a reason why, like, in Les Mis, they're quite big.
Yeah. Can't wrap yourself in it.
Yeah.
Can't eat it like a pill. No.
Did Australia get an entry in the Eurovision now, yeah?
Because of that, yeah, that was Eurovision. It is strange, because the whole thing is you've got to do that while still looking tough on terror.
You know, he has got a bit of a performance background, Malcolm Turnbull. You know that his grandfather, Oscar, used to be the sound effects guy at the ABC? You know, like the coconuts, clip-clop sort of thing? Really? He ran sound effects at the ABC.
So he's the more successful one of the family?
What a legend.
Machismo, though, that word there, everyone kind of pretty much thought it was intentionally directed at Abbott. Julie Bishop says no. As a former media advisor, do you think it was?
Yeah. No, look, they absolutely would have gone through that speech with a fine-tooth comb. The departments looked at that, staffers have looked at that, other ministers would have looked at that. Malcolm Turnbull knew what he was doing.
What I love is that the whole speech is, you know, it's, how much I disapprove of gestures, when the whole speech is like...
Can I just say that you doing that is already a GIF?
I feel like that's what he says just before he's about to make love to you. He's going to be calm, professional.
That really escalated too fast for me.
Really?
This is not the time for machismo.
All right, Team Hiccups, it's now your turn. Who was arrested for punching a horse?
Mark Latham.
It was...
Again.
It was another horse on meth. It was a protester, wasn't it?
I'll give you a clue. The horse was Muslim.
Yes, let's have a look.
Chaos has broken out at anti-Islam rallies across the country, and one person was arrested for punching a police horse.
It was apparently one of the anti-racist protesters who got confused and thought he was an anti-race horse protester. Look, no one covered themselves in glory at those rallies, although there were some colourful characters there, such as this guy, Purple Hitler. Look out for his upcoming book, Mein Kampf. Yes, Jez.
Craig, you shouldn't judge people just because they happen to look like a purple Nazi. I mean, I actually learnt that from one of the protesters at the anti-Islamic rally. They quite seriously and ironically said this: "People judge you just for the way you look without knowing anything about you, which I think that's not fair," said the anti-Islamic protester.
Yeah. All right, Team Australia, your turn again. Let's recap the third story.
For the opening night of this year's Schoolies Week, police say the 35,000 attendees were generally...
Weren't they given instructions on how to evade terrorist attacks?
That is one of the things. Yeah, Peter Dutton came out and kind of... Although it was a question for the media, it was like, yeah, you should be ready for that, I guess. I don't know.
This is a strange sentence, but I actually felt quite sorry for Peter Dutton. Because, like, he was kind of put in an impossible position. Like, he didn't come out and say, oh, I've got briefing notes on schoolies and terror. Somebody was like, oh, Peter Dutton, should, teens be aware of terrorists? And he couldn't say no. Like, you can't be like, nah, I'll be fine. Like,
they're not aware of anything else. Why start with terrorism?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, that is right. There was the opening night of Schoolies this week. It's a time when students celebrate their academic achievements by screaming at news cameras.
Firstly, get your head...
I'm sexy, yeah, no.
Sorry, Mum, if I get arrested.
It actually is a serious issue, this kind of thing, Craig, because with all their nudity and debauchery, it's a real concern that schools can get exploited by those sleazy old tools, and by that I mean Sunrise.
There are lots of what are called butt shots at the moment, but anyhow, I'm not sure why we're showing those, but it's, they've got to remember these will be on the web forever, won't they?
Oh, this could haunt kids forever. Like, imagine if a breakfast TV show got hold of them, for example. All
right, Team Hiccups, here's the last story again.
Bundles of dribble and sputum.
What was that about?
I think that was the original name for Giggle and Hoot. This was actually something said by Lionhelm, Senator Lionhelm, describing children.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, he was saying, thank God for childless couples.
Yeah.
That is right. This week, David Lionhelm had some choice words for Australia's children and their parents.
It's bad enough that people continue to bring wave upon wave of these little blighters into the world. The least they can do is immunise their bundles of dribble and sputum so they don't make the rest of us sick.
I got to say, Craig, I am so upset that Lionhelm doesn't like kids, because I reckon he would make a great dad. Just look how filled he is with Christmas cheer.
In the 5th bill of Christmas, my treasurer sent to me more FBT, more CGT, seafarers tax, slower deductions, and a tax on the elderly.
Just how I remember it.
Annabelle, have you ever seen a politician actually go after parents and kids before?
Look, that guy specialises in doing things that no other politician would ever do. And he's got this sort of charmed life. You know, this is the guy who got elected because he was number one on the sort of giant Senate voting ticket in New South Wales. And he runs for a party called the Liberal Democrats. And so he basically represents people who are too bored to get further into the ballot paper and Liberals who are not quite reading the form correctly.
So is he like Aaron in the phone book?
He's 100%.
Aaron Aardvark, you've done it again.
All right, so that's the end of that round. At the end of that round, I think the winners are Team Australia. Shows the... you got a prize for them?
I sure do, Craig. This.
The world's most wanted doors. We ask these badass doors the tough questions.
Mark from Channel 7. You know Adam, you could possibly tell us who he is as a man.
Some doors play hard to get.
Brian Seymour from 7 News.
Other doors beg for mercy.
Leave us alone, we've got nothing to say. Get in your car and go.
This week, we confront the worst door yet. Bill.
Oh, Bill, it's Andrew from Channel 10.
Well, go away. World's most wanted doors.
Bad doors, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they open you?
Introducing the master impressionists of breakfast television. Why see expensive Hollywood movies when Australia's breakfast hosts do exactly the same job?
Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
Forget Morgan Freeman. All you need is Channel 9's Tim Gilbert.
When Andy Dufresne came to Shawshank, he had two choices. He could get busy living or get busy dying. Andy Dufresne chose to get busy living.
Walk a mile in these Louboutins, but they don't wear these shits where I'm from.
Wait, was that Iggy Azalea or Carl Stefanovic?
Walk a mile in my Louis Vuittons, ain't got that where I'm from.
Guess who this is?
Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman. Potter. Oliver. Alan Rickman. Nakatomi Tower. Alan Rickman.
I think it might be Alan Rickman. Plus, Carl Stefanovic's amazing impression of Gary Coleman.
What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
Who unfortunately Carl thinks is Mr. T.
What you talking about, Willis?
Why do you continue to say those Arnold lines from different shows?
Isn't that what Mr. T used to say?
And finally, whoever this is.
Are you Kaniki or are you Ralph Mel from Happy Days?
Breakfast television's master impressionists, worth not getting out of bed for.
And on the news board tonight we have schoolies, Jermaine Greer, a person of Middle Eastern appearance. This thing here that is the coolest apparently, and this thing here that isn't the coolest. And Barack Obama. Okay, teams taking in turns to pick a subject, but anyone can answer the question by buzzing in. All right, Team Hiccups, what's your pick?
I know I'm probably the only person in Australia ever to say this, but I choose Bill Shorten.
All right, what did Bill Shorten do this week to make 2 million more Australians dislike him?
Bomb Adelaide.
Did he do that thing where he's Bill Shorten?
All right, so
Bill Shorten?
you know how most people, when they're unpopular, give people cigarettes to, win popularity? He did the exact opposite and said, well, if I'm elected, we're going to increase the tax on ciggies to it, and it's about so your cigarettes will cost $40 a packet by 2020, I think, is the idea.
That is right. Let's have a look.
The ALP has announced a plan to hike tobacco taxes so much that smokers would pay more than $40 a pack.
I love his defence to it was this whole, he just said, You know, I know, I may be unpopular, but I'm not going to quit. You, however, will quit because...
Yes, look, all this taxing of cigarettes is ironic, given Shorten refuses to give them up himself.
I never give up. Because I won't, because I don't.
Has he been reading, like, Dr. Seuss books?
I'm pretty sure there is a patch for that.
Yeah. That was
facial patch.
That was actually Shorten's response to the latest polling, which puts his popularity rating at 15%. Possibly not the best line there. Teams, can you come up with a better line to respond to his poor polling with?
I've got one if it goes down to 14. Now lower than the proposed GST.
I think, let's face it, you've prepared him for next month.
Isn't the real problem here that it was actually a typo? It's not 15%, it's 15 people.
I can see why you were sacked as a political advisor. Bill's 15% stats are also a challenge for the media as well, though, because when John Howard hit 18% popularity, the headline was, "Why on earth does this man bother?" So how can they possibly come up with a harsher headline for Mr. 15%?
Unelected Bill. It's a problem with being called Bill because he pays for it every day because he was electricity bill for a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
God, that was
he
bad.
could almost consider a name change, I think,
change.
just to avoid what is an inevitable.
Yeah, it's true.
William Shorten sounds nice.
Yeah.
I'd vote for William Shorten. It was a completely different person.
The last name's not good either, though. It's like, his odds are shortening again.
Yeah.
It's just everything.
Yeah.
Look, while we're on spin, are there moments that no spin doctor can save? We're going to look back at some of the worst moments that politicians have faced. Buzz in if you can guess the spin they went with. Firstly, a few years back, the leader of the WA Liberal Party was caught repeatedly sniffing a female staff member's seat. How do you think they spun that one?
Was he trying to disprove the idea that whoever smelt it dealt it?
He actually just really enjoys good design. He was like, "Oh, is that a bentwood?"
Is that monkey pod?
OK, next up, Peter Dowling, the Conservative Liberal National Party MP and head of the Government Ethics Committee, was caught sexting pictures of his penis in a glass of red wine to his mistress. How do you think they spun that one?
If you can think of a better way to show your passion for the Australian wine industry...
Yes, anyway.
Excessively literal interpretation of the varietal Pinot.
Who doesn't like a bit of cheese with their wine?
Alex.
They were actually just doing a science experiment. It was like, can you get drunk through your own dick?
Look, in actual fact, Peter didn't spin it too much. He said, "I am not proud of the events plastered all over today's papers, and I can't and won't defend any part of it." Although, amazingly, he was re-endorsed by the Liberal National Party for the seat, although the local members didn't accept that. And when he got kicked out by the local members, he said this.
"I've just been declined, so how about I go home and have a no comment and enjoy a quiet..."
Don't say why!
Well, you know why he vacated the seat, though. So Troy Buswell could say.
All right, next up, your old boss again, Sean. Remember when Kevin Rudd was running for the Prime Ministership and it was exposed that he went to a gentleman's club and may have been asked to leave for inappropriate behaviour? I'd only used the wrong stripper dollars. How did they spin this one? Yes, Sean.
Well, apparently he was just doing what Kevin Rudd always does, which is to go up to everybody on the room and ask for a fair shake of their sauce bottle.
I think he just wanted to, like, see the anatomy of humans. I thought he went up to everyone at the strip club and said, "This reckless spending must stop."
The best thing about this story is Julia Gillard's reaction when Kevin Rudd told her what was about to break in the newspapers. Apparently she just laughed uncontrollably for about 3 minutes down the phone to him, and he was incredibly injured.
I know Kevin was furious when this story came out, but his advisors said, "Mate, this is going to make you more popular."
Yeah.
And it did. His poll numbers actually went up after it.
I'm happy to become much more popular then.
You can imagine his advisor going, no, we've got to go to more strip clubs every night.
Your pole dancing numbers are going up. Well, Kevin's actual response was to say that he had no recollection of being asked to leave, which is the same thing he said after Labor dumped him. And you're right, some even think the incident worked in his favour.
I think most Australians will say big deal and move on. It shows that he's human.
Which also turned out to be wrong. OK, Team Australia, what's the pick of the board?
What do you reckon?
Jermaine, come on. Jermaine.
Let's go Waleed.
All right.
In the wake of the Paris attacks, Waleed Ali made some very sensible comments about ISIS that went viral. But other commentators said some things that went feral. Which of these extreme policies was not actually floated this week? We've got a national register of all Muslims, tracking refugees with ankle bracelets, an empathy test to discover whether Islamic people are good or evil, and ordering police to track down every Syrian refugee in the state. Which of these brilliant ideas was not actually proposed?
I think I've actually heard all of those except for C.
Let's see how you went. The first one is true. Last week, Donald Trump said he would certainly implement a database for tracking Muslims in the US. But to distance himself from the inevitable Nazi comparisons, Trump said it was the reporter's idea, not his. He was just following orders.
I reckon a national database would be a good idea because then if something happens, Andrew Bolt can call up every Muslim individually and get them to publicly condemn ISIS.
That's not condemning enough! Right. Tracking people with ankle bracelets was proposed by Australia's Donald Trump herself, Jackie Lambie, who said...
So maybe the first person that should have an electronic device put on them is a bloody Grand Mufti.
Jackie Lambie, the only woman brave enough to say what no one else is thinking.
I reckon that he would do well to change his title, though, to the bloody Grand Mufti. I think BGM. It's quite funky.
It's a bit more Australian. You'd get a bit more...
It's like Kevin Bloody Wilson of the...
Grand Bloody Mufti.
Crab compares Grand Mufti to Kevin Bloody Wilson.
Scratch that, yeah.
The one that wasn't proposed was the empathy test. That was the method to discover evil replicants from the 1982 film Blade Runner. But that would never work because we've ruled out using any empathy in our immigration policy. State police were called in to track down every single Syrian refugee in Louisiana by the Governor Bobby Jindal.
We don't want these refugees in our state. I've ordered the state police to track the ones that are already in Louisiana.
How many Syrian refugees do you think there are in Louisiana?
There's a lot of refugees fleeing Louisiana, trying to get to Syria.
Take that, Louisiana! Look, the answer is there are only 14 of them, so it shouldn't take long for the police. Which means... Yes, Chaz?
Yeah, Craig, that actually is just a terrible policy. I mean, the police have much more important things to do on days like this than follow Muslims around. They've got to rush to Wollstonecraft Apartments after a man threatened to kill a really big spider. That's today's news.
This is huge breaking news.
Is killing a really big spider a euphemism?
No, this is my favourite story of the decade, where police were called to this guy's house because he was, at the same time as trying to kill a spider, he was yelling at it, "I'll kill you." And then
Hang on. Did the spider call the police?
Because that's the real story.
They could have called like 8 police.
All right, Team Hiccups, who's your pick of the board?
Oh, I reckon we'll go Jermaine.
Sure.
I'm happy with Jermaine.
Sure.
This week, Jermaine Greer gave a lecture at Cardiff University despite a petition calling for her to be banned for comments about transgender people. Here's how they were reported.
Just because you lop off your penis and then wear a dress doesn't make you a beeping woman. I've asked my doctor to give me long ears and liver spots and I'm going to wear a brown coat, but that won't turn me into a beeping cocker spaniel.
Look, it's not very nice to trans people, although Jermaine Greer also really hates dogs. Being allowed to speak means Jermaine Greer isn't added to the list of things banned by universities. Teams, I'm going to tell you something that has been banned at a uni. Buzz in if you can guess why it was banned, OK? Starting with a village people costume. Why was that banned?
all about the Native American
fashion-based
headdress.
appropriating culture.
Yeah. It's you can't wear a feathered headdress anywhere. It's disrespectful to Native Americans.
Disrespectable.
Yeah, it's just...
Yes, look, Annabelle is right. At a university Halloween party in Birmingham, a man dressed as the native Indian from the village people was ejected on the grounds that the costume was racist. This was apparently after discussions involving the university's anti-fascism officer. Damn you, officer, where were you when Mussolini was around? Next up, why was clapping discouraged on a campus?
Because student theatre is dreadful and you should not encourage it.
Because it kept turning on and off the university lights.
I would presume it's because clapping is not inclusive for deaf people and therefore they would have asked them to do
that's
jazz hands
Auslan
or something.
No, that's not. It's actually not the reason. It's not because of deafness. According to one university union in the UK, clapping triggers anxiety, and students should use jazz hands instead. Which is strange because this guy's jazz hands give me anxiety.
Greg Norman.
So like Greg Norman and Bob Down got together and...
Finally, why did students petition for this to be removed?
Name a reason to keep it.
It's a mature age student who's been lost on campus, and it's just so sad.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer, but I think I've spotted Bigfoot.
It's a statue.
It is, that is
it's
right.
It's a sculpture or something.
This is actually a statue of a near-naked roaming bald man which was installed at an all-women's college. They petitioned for it to be removed because, unsurprisingly, it made them feel unsafe.
If we can't put clothes on it, I'd like it to be removed. I knew it was there when I saw it at night, and I still thought it was a real person.
Yes, Jez.
To be fair, bald men can get a lot creepier than that statue, Craig.
You talk about sliding your penis in and doing all that sort of stuff.
And just to make my point, I actually made a vine of that.
Sliding your penis in.
It goes for 55 seconds, Craig.
Sliding your penis in.
I want to stop
Sliding your
that
penis
now,
in.
Okay, sure. Suit
I think
yourself.
Fiona Katauskas has actually taken out most horrified cartoonist of the year
Yeah,
of that
exactly.
interaction.
Look, so at the end of that round, the winner is Team Hiccups.
No.
Have you got a prize for them?
I do. It's the user's typically sound medical advice, this time about coffee.
Coffee helps protect against one of the most common cancers. Coffee can cause anxiety, dehydration and stomach irritation.
It seems coffee could be a cure for baldness.
People who enjoy coffee without milk are more likely to exhibit psychopathic behaviour.
Drinking coffee could be adding years to your life.
And it turns out your morning coffee and snack could be killing you.
I think overall it may be good for you. Put it another way, it's not bad for you.
Huh?
How Aussie is that? Australia's a bonza place where cows drink beer, and she'll be right, mate. So when something bad happens like this,
A 9-hour siege shut down part of a Brisbane suburb.
don't have a cow.
Police say the man was unarmed and the hostage turned out to be a friend.
How Aussie is that? And what about this bloke?
He faced court charged with blackmail, stalking and making explosives.
No wuckers.
The magistrate stood down the case for 3 hours so that the 75-year-old could take a nap.
How Aussie is that? And when you get
Carjacked in Sydney's southwest.
they won't demand you drive them across the border.
Broke into his car, demanded that he drive them through a Hungry Jack's that was close by.
How Aussie is that?
Everybody loves a news pun, especially ABC News Breakfast Virginia Trioli. Look at her loving Michael Rowland's pun about a golf club ban.
If you're a golf club member, you'd be really teed off about that one.
All right, it's the final pandemonium for the year, so get ready to fight for Virginia's favour. Your first story is about a couple that got married in scuba gear underwater. Yes.
With this ring ivy wet.
Very good. Marriage already in deep trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Something semen.
Are you getting up already?
Let's hope they don't get... Oh, I can't even get it out. Let's hope they don't get divorced. It was a match mermaid in heaven.
Let's see if you're right.
The couple who dived headfirst into marriage.
These newlyweds have quite literally taken the plunge.
An American couple has made a splash, and when it came time to kiss, they held their breath and dived right in.
Already in.
All right, the next one is about a robber who showed some bum crack on the store's security camera.
Cheeky Crim gets away with stolen goods and crack.
Sure it was theft? Sure it wasn't arson?
He tried to do it under cover of night, but unfortunately there was a full moon.
You could say there's a hole in their security.
All right, let's see what Channel 10 Melbourne came up with.
A cheeky bandit has been caught while he scrambled to grab the bottles of booty.
All right, next up a story about a protest by fishermen.
Something semen.
They staged a bow test?
Was their list of demands this big?
The protesters just couldn't get their line straight.
Let's see how you went.
These protesters say it's a flaky attempt to hook votes.
That was a flaky pun, yes.
So bad.
Let's move on to the next one. Finally, a report about a call to keep cats indoors to protect wildlife. What puns you got for this one?
What do we want? Cats indoors. When do we want it? Meow!
The Maoist regime cracks down.
Let me out.
Owners are trying to keep tabbies on their pets.
Something semen.
And this is what Channel 10 did.
As you'd expect, the fur is flying among cat lovers.
Animal groups say a near perfect solution to the catastrophic killing spree.
Now this brings us to the end of the Media Circus for the year, and the winner this week, I think Team Australia. Congratulations. And for your prize, given we are moving closer to Christmas, we've made our very own carol out of all the gifts the news has bestowed on us this year. So to take us out, please welcome Andrew Hansen.
On the 12th day of Christmas, the news gave to me 12 pointless graphics, 11 balding white men, 10 whole new level, 9 stories on pandas, 8 awkward pauses, 7 panels yelling, 6 stupid nicknames.
Jail cell Jody.
Sydney's cocaine mum.
Alice the Slasher. Melbourne's grubby Gabby. Australia's payday lover. Australia's bad Arthur.
5 cars crashing into the same unlucky house for some reason.
At least 5 cars have crashed into the home this year alone.
What the hell is that?
4 slamming doors.
Go away.
3 of this reporter.
And T3, well, that's for 3 people.
2 coshy knobs.
Well, we have penises. That's sliding your penis in.
And the one time that Eric Abetz smiled.
Sunshine, lollipops and sprinkles, everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together.
Merry Christmas, everybody.